should investors, especially when it comes to regional banks, take this as a significant net positive? And I suppose all of the chatter as well that Warren Buffett is perhaps getting brought in to take a little bit of a look-see?
I think so, yes. I mean, this is obviously a positive development. We've got, three troubled banks that were, have basically been handled in various ways, but have, each has had their own either, white knight come along or bailout from the government. And so I think, the news is pretty powerful here. It looks like New York Community or any bank that picked up Signature was going to do so at a massive discount. In terms of buying those deposits and assets. They'll get some backstopping, most likely. And without knowing, all of the terms related to this, it seems like, when you have this capability to buy a bank at a substantial discount, shore it up in terms of confidence. And, I think this will be viewed pretty well by the market.
But do you think this is going to be enough to stem the tide? Because, a lot has been made about the suggestions that the run on deposits has alleviated somewhat. But then when you see the amount of capital that's just flown into money markets over the course of the last week, could it just be a little bit of a temporary aberration? Because I would imagine that these banks aren't the last shoe to drop. Or do you have a different take?
Well, I think, we've run pretty extensive screens related to the regional banks that we cover, particularly in the S&P 1500. And, against their available for sale, their held to maturities, looking at the uninsured deposits relative to the total. And one thing is quite clear is that Signature and Silicon Valley Bank were very much out of the norm for other banks. So they had much higher proportions of uninsured deposits, very high available for sale portfolios. And so sort of hiding something, if you will, and slipped by the watchful eyes of the regulators at the same time. So I think there's this sort of catharsis that's going on in the, for deposits, bank deposits generally, as investors, look to move to make sure that they're in safer hands. I think, what the government's doing, the bailout, the bank term loan program, they're really shoring things up and providing confidence that deposits are, backstopping deposits even, are not at risk here. So it seems like the contagion, if you will, is now a bit contained, and not to mention the overseas action in Credit Suisse that, is also now had been, quite troubled for a number of years and also has a white knight.